I'm called the Irish Storyteller. Did you know that Ireland has its own Hercules? Cú Chulainn was his name, and he's one of our greatest mythological heroes. His mother was called Dechtin. She was the sister of the King of Ulster, Conor MacNassa, and they lived in Awan in Ulster. She was also his charioteer. And one morning they woke up and they noticed all around the fort in the fields was a strange flock of birds eating all their crops and their grasses. And they chased these birds away with their chariots, and they became slightly enchanted by these birds. So they followed the flock over valleys and mountains, and suddenly this snowstorm fell, and they noticed a cottage on top of the mountain. So they went there and they rested for the night. In her dream that night, Dechtin saw this strange man appear, and he said to her, "You will bear a son. I am Lu, the god of sun and light. I am his father. He will be strong, swift, and glorious." Dechtin woke up and she was pregnant. And she did have a son. She called him Satanta. She noticed from an early age he was able to outrun chariots. He could catch deer with his bare arms. He would often ask her, "When can I go to Awan to join the Red Branch of apprentice warriors?" And she said, "You're only a toddler. Just calm down, calm down. It's okay. You will eventually get a chance, but you're just too young now." He kept asking this question. He'd never been there himself. It was only 20 miles away from where he grew up, but he often dreamed of it. And he kept on pestering his mother until one day she said, "Okay, I give in. I won't stand between you and your destiny. I know you're only 6 years old, but I think you're actually ready." So he gave her a hug and hit the road, and on the way, he came across an old woman who pointed him in the direction of Awan. When he arrived at the fort of Conor MacNassa, he saw all the 150 apprentice warriors playing hurling there. And Satanta, being Satanta, he jumped in, grabbed the ball, flew past a couple of players and scored a goal and go, "Yes!" Jumped in the air with satisfaction of scoring the goal. The boys, who were like much older and bigger than him, thought, "Who is this cheeky little brat coming along here? Not even asking us for permission, just joins in, doesn't even ask for our protection," and then scores the goal. So Fullerman, who was the leader of the group, he said, "Let's teach him a lesson, boys." So they got their hurley sticks and they tried to hit him with the hurley sticks. He dodged every hit. He parried. He grabbed their sticks and threw them away. And then they threw their spears at him, which he dodged. And then they formed a sort of a phalanx, a wedge, and they attacked him to try and wrestle him to the ground. And at this stage, Satanta was getting quite angry. Now, one lesson we've learned from the story of Cú Chulainn is you never get him angry. He would go into this warp spasm, which is what he did here. The warp spasm was like a battle frenzy. It's called Riastrad in the Irish language. One eye would bulge, the other one would narrow, his hair would spike as if it was on fire, and he would turn into a sort of creature who could just kill all around him, friend or foe. He couldn't even tell the difference. So he went into this warp spasm, and he threw boys, flung them all around the place, and you could hear the roar of in pain. "Ah, what are you doing?" Some of the boys ran into the fort. Conor MacNassa was in there. He was playing chess, trying to have a nice quiet game, destroyed by this commotion. And the boys say, "Oh, there's a boy out there. He's flung us around the place." And then Satanta walks into the fort where Conor MacNassa is sitting, and he recognizes the boy. This is the boy who caused all the commotion. He says, "Who are you, and why did you do this to my boys?" And Satanta said, "Look, I'm actually your nephew. Dechtin is my mother. She's your sister. And I have often dreamed of coming here to join the Red Branch, and I did not expect to be attacked in this way. So it's actually not my fault, it's the boys' fault." And Connor said, "Well, did you ask them for permission? Did you ask for their acknowledgement? Did you ask for their protection before you just jumped into the game?" And Satanta says, "No, I didn't realize I had to do that." And Connor says, "Of course you have to do that. Here, I can grant you that now if you want." And Satanta said, "Okay, please do, please do." And then Satanta just turned around and was walking out. And Connor, like, "Who is this boy that can just walk away from me?" He said, "Where are you going?" And Satanta says, "Well, now that I've asked you for their protection, now it's their turn to ask for my protection." So Satanta went outside, and every single one of the 150 boys asked Satanta for his protection. And soon after, Satanta established himself as the leader of the Red Branch. Now, he's called Satanta at this stage. He will become known as Cú Chulainn, and that's in my next video. That's where I talk about how he got that name. It's the Hound of Ulster.